Welcome back to the channel. Today what I'm going to be talking about is the Mr. Olympia and why I believe that if the Mr. Olympia up under the new ownership don't change, it's definitely going to fail without a doubt. It's not going to exist within the next 5 years, in my opinion. I don't think the Mr. Olympia is going to survive. And this is the reason why I feel like that and why I think that. Is that the Mr. Olympia has been sold yet again. And from what I gather, less than several $1 million less than what it was purchased for. And the only way a company sell a business like that is that they are losing money. No matter what they're saying about ticket sales or whatever, the Mr. Olympia is losing money. And naturally, everybody who's involved in it is going to always try to hype it up because they want to keep their income going. But the Mr. Olympia is failing, and it's failing because it has failed to keep that structure that it had from the beginning, where tighter waistlines, better conditioning were the mandate for bodybuilding. You know, bodybuilding and weight training is two different things. They don't even go together, especially when you're talking about natural versus science projects. I had to throw the science projects in there. But anyway, it's like I told you all last year that I felt like the Arnold Classic was producing the better bodybuilders. And the reason that I feel like that is that Arnold made a mandate that everybody should come in with tighter waistlines and pull those bubble guts in. That was a mandate that he made. And if you've noticed that the Arnold competitors are in more condition than they are when they are at the Olympia. It's not that they're falling off toward the Olympia. It's just that the standards are not as high, and that's the sad part about it. And that's where they're making a mistake at. They changed it up a little bit with Shawn Rhoden, but with Shawn Rhoden's present condition and circumstances, that has kind of thrown that out the way. So now you have pulled in bodybuilders. I'm not going to say of less caliber than Shawn Rhoden because I feel like they are kind of right there with him. William Bonac, bodybuilders of that nature. But the issue with the Olympia is, in my opinion, if they're going to survive, they're going to have to, in my opinion, make a weight restriction. Naturally, if you restrict the weight of the Mr. Olympia to about 250 pounds, you still got these freakish looking guys, because these guys are not going to be natural with 2 to 3% body fat at 250 pounds. That right there is ungodly and freakish by itself because the natural human body can't even look like that. So that's going to be the attraction. These guys are going to have better physiques. They'll be able to cut back on the amount of drugs that they're using, cut back on the amount of food that they're using, and really get their bodies in the condition that it need to be in order for them to look like they used to look, but at a bigger rate. They're going to be bigger guys still. Now, what that would end up doing, it would stop these guys from getting up to these 330, 310 pound bodies and then dieting down to 260, 270, halfway in shape for the Mr. Olympia. Now, with a 250 pound gap, that would also have the 212. Guys in the 212 can be more competitive if they decide to move out of the 212 and move up. Classic physiques. Those guys right there also will have the ability to be able to move up and be competitive because they already have those streamlined bodies. It won't take much for them to gain a few extra pounds to be competitive with those Mr. Olympia guys. And you talking about, competition. That'll be competition as far as physique-wise out of the wazoo. and you won't be able to beat that. And right now, if Arnold really wanted to, with the Arnold Classic producing a better condition pro bodybuilders, all Arnold would have to do was up the money. And that way right there would pretty much eliminate the Mr. Olympia, because it won't be feasible for anybody to go there and try to, compete there, because there's no money there. So the thing about it is that you got Athleticon and all these other things, and if they are strict about how they want their bodybuilders to be, then Athleticon is going to be another stab in the side of the Mr. Olympia. Now, again, if the Mr. Olympia want to survive, they're going to have to really get these guys to come into condition the way they should be in order for to have that draw. Now, the guys bringing back the Miss Olympia, which again, they're trying to find something to hold on to its patrons. And the only way they're going to do that, they're going to have to come up with something new and innovative. And my thing is, if they do that one thing, put a weight restriction on the Mr. Olympia of 250 pounds, again, all of these guys will have to, especially guys like Big Raymond, who's always pushing the envelope on size. The guy got more size than anybody, but he's stuck on that size thing. And that right there would force him to go below the 250-pound weight category, and perhaps this guy could probably finally win the Mr. Olympia, because he have all the attributes that it takes. He just, in his mind, he feel like he just got to be bigger and bigger. And the thing about it is that so far, over 260 pounds, there have not been a Mr. Olympia of that great of caliber. So why is it that they just won't put a 250-pound restriction on it? These guys would have to maintain condition pretty much year-round to be able to make weight. Not necessarily trying to win enough competition to qualify for the Olympia, but also keeping their bodies in condition enough to where they don't have many pounds to gain or lose in order for them to be competitive. That right there would it'll cut back on the, like I said, on the drug usage. How much drug they're using. It'll cut back on the amount of food that they're using, extending their guts and stuff like that. And you talking about, oh man, you talking about the top 10 will automatically move down, and the competition would be crazy. You look at guys like Flex Lewis. Flex Lewis really don't have any weak points. Being in the 212-pound category, he's moved up into the Mr. Olympia, and he has a great chance of placing in the top 6 because of the way his body is made, and that right there would put competition in the bodies, the structure of the bodies, the way the bodies are made. Also, we wouldn't have lost Phil Heath, because Phil Heath, actually, because of that gut distension, that's what took him out. That's what messed him up, is because he's trying to stay at a size that he's really not capable of being. Even though he got there, but he got there at the cost of his waistline. And that's the problem with the Mr. Olympia. Put a cap on the Mr. Olympia of 250 pounds, and the Mr. Olympia will be the most competitive bodybuilding shows that you can imagine. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk to y'all about. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And again, I'll be talking to you later.